Good afternoon, friends. Enjoying the park. Getting another headache. Pretty sure I need to get my teeth worked on. Probably the root of much of my pain. Um, and it forces me to use medicine because otherwise I can't function. My mind is not it's not fully there. Um, right side this time. Usually it'll bounce by the end to the other side, and that makes me wonder if it's some form of imbalance, like an energetic imbalance, maybe, or a. It's weird. I've been experiencing headaches since I was a teenager, and I've experienced all kinds of different types of headaches. Um, so yeah, as far as pain and functioning goes, they're actually it makes life pretty intolerable for the times that I have it, compared to other pain. Really, there's only a few other types of pain that really beat it, but not over that same period of time usually. So, uh, grateful though, grateful to have friends and grateful to eat and just wanted to share a few thoughts that came to mind. Um, Thinking again about Bitcoin and something I heard recently in video, like, well, if the world ever gets bad enough where you have more important things to think about than money transactions, then yeah, you won't be able to use it then at that period, right? Um, and so I started doing, like, let's really think this through here, okay? So we have Bitcoin and all its derivatives, and which is its own little problem. Like, if you got all your money sunk into something else, how are you going to convert it? How are you going to trade when there's no internet to do it? Um, well, let's just say everybody was using the same thing, agreed that all the other ones were junk because they don't exist, and there's no exchange. Let's say you got Bitcoin, and we go through this really chaotic period where the U.S. dollar completely becomes worthless. They attempt to institute a digital currency, and they're going to experience backlash, of course. There's a lot more going on during this period. The upcoming unrest, it's pretty, like, written on the wall at this point. The prices of gasoline and diesel, the inflation rate basically is crippling the economy right now. We were all just barely hanging on, right? And people cannot afford, what is it, 80%? Let's see, it was at 3, and now it's over 5. Let's see, something at 60. Like I said, my mind's not working. And this is still cheap. I'm telling you, the fuel prices are still cheap. You don't understand that. I've gotten a lot of flack. I'm, like, pretty much not returning to a forum that I because those of you that don't understand what's happening, we are in a situation. Let's just summarize what I've learned from various people I trust that study these things, like Chris Martison. Like, just doing your basic calculations. What was the level that we used this amount of barrels fewer? And looking back on time, that's 2010. Okay. Well, what was the GDP back in 2010? And the answer is 50% smaller. Okay. So we're running twice as much economy on, and that's after inflation adjusted, on so just do the math. We have half the amount of freaking energy, worldwide consumption. We are in a situation where all the logistics was just in time and logistics. Well, this is bigger than the COVID. The COVID was voluntary, and this is no longer voluntary, right? You might say that parties could concede, but that's not necessarily true. If you understand that this appears to be entirely intentional, like the system is being crashed right now intentionally, okay? Like the pilots, both of them, right, are aiming towards the ground. And you're on this plane, okay? They're intentionally wrecking the global economy. It's not a if. They know what they're doing. They have you're you could use any one of these ChatGPT or any of these AI tools and get a pretty good answer, right? That what they're doing is going to lead to consequences that is going to be worse than the global depression experienced in the 1930s. This is it. It doesn't matter if they opened it now. It would still take 3 more months and the damage is done, right? Every player in this game that cares about its own people, that isn't compromised as part of this bigger plan, right? They're looking at their own nations and saying, where do our allegiances lie? They don't lie with the United States. Look at what they just did to us. That was an act of war against the entire freaking world. You know? Just like the COVID, right? But that was just kind of a test run. That was like, what do you do if we voluntarily shut everything down? And now this time it's for real. Other nations are about to start falling. Like, the economics of this doesn't go away. If you can't cook food, if you can't grow food, if there's no food to be bought, what do? You can try to eat your neighbor, and they might have the same idea. And that's just a temporary solution, because as you go down that route, what happens? I know I started this off about cryptocurrency, but these are the events playing out right now. Well, then you just end up with the stronger and the stronger and the stronger. And probably not the smartest. Probably instinctually tuned and sociopathic. People think, 1% sociopathy rate is really high. Have you looked at history? Do you understand? You didn't even understand what creates that. And it's trauma. It's things not computing. It's a bunch of things. But no. Survival of the fittest at this level will create, oh my goodness. You think, well, let's just keep them under control. Well, they can't. When bellies are empty, when you can't travel, when things can't be transported, when the grid itself starts to fail because of reliance and substitution, which happens, if you can't cook on your stove, you turn on a grill. Well, a grill is 1,500 watts, I don't know what it is in other nations. I haven't studied, dependent on the electrical engineering of your country. But it's a lot of load, and do you understand? Substitution doesn't work on the scale. You can't cut out 20% of the most important ingredient that sustains life, human life anyways, on this planet. We are all products of oil, and this is a point I've stressed for many, many years. Which is why I always look at the Strait of Hormuz to do exactly what's happening. Okay? So understand that it's happening. It's not a matter if you wish it differently, it's already happening. And it's just a matter of time before that wave actually arrives upon you. We're not screaming for the most part because we want to use this time. And we're not panicking because those of us that have gotten past fear and understand even just what the odd ratios of survival in this is like, you have to let go of attachment to your life. Okay? That was one of the first things. For you to even go down this path of reasoning, really. And, well, we're here. Okay? Now, if you're following me at all, you're also following that I'm prophetically linked and part of this on a bigger level. And so if you're going to look at the prophecies as guideposts, and my saying I'm here, then you have to understand there is very little time. So going back to the crypto thing, if I had crypto right now, I would make the best use of it while I still could. There are some people that think that after the collapse, it might still have value. Well, you have to understand that whatever thing emerges from afterwards is going to be based upon its own de facto exchange. Whether that's like, oh, I'll help you for a little bit, and you can help me sometime, and we'll kind of keep an average. And exchange in that way for goods too. Like that's common ways of bartering, there might be staples of the area that are barterable. Like here in Oregon, that would probably be like weed, right? Or maybe, I don't know, bottles of wine. I don't know what people are going to be using. But I do know is that they're not going to be using Bitcoin. Because it's not real. It could be used as a ledger. It could be used as, some form of like, but who's going to want to? Like, you have to be a geek to want to do that. It's not mass produced. There's no mass produced, like, and totally accepted exchange of person to person Bitcoin without the internet. It just doesn't exist. And we're not going to be making those things. A collapse scenario means all that stuff shuts down. And you're going to want to shut it down. Because you're not going to want these fab machines printing out more Terminators, which is very likely to happen at this point. I was warning about 15 years ago about the dangers of drones. And that was an interest of mine as a child. I imagined a lot of these things before they became reality. And sure, many of it was probably, ideas I got from science fiction. It's not like I was an original thinker. I wasn't. I was just seeing where the trends would lead. And the fun of building craft, But I understood that they could be used as weapons back then. I actually imagined, like, when I was a kid, that we would have full functioning, like, basically robot wars up in the air, like the fighter, like in World War I, but I understood that all this stuff could be used for harmful purposes. And now they're mass producing these things. and now in image recognition has gone past the point. This is what surprised me, was how effective these things have become. But image recognition is really, really fast now. And with that means basically robots that will be able to automatically go out, search, and destroy. Whether they're flying or so many ways, right? We don't know what's been invented. This is just one small part of my overall life that I spent looking at, like drones and stuff, and there is so much more. If you spent your whole life dedicated to these type of endeavors, and there are people with intelligences, more vertical intelligence, but are really gifted at design, and then if we ever reduce to the point where technology can advance itself on its own, again, and the software is already kind of happening. So we're at a critical point where we either stop this or we are so screwed. You don't understand. I am a prophet. I've been prophesying my whole life in various ways. And I understand what other prophecies actually mean. Takes me some time sometimes. But God is all, and speaks to us individually, internally and externally. Internally, we can call that our intuition, call it a couple different things, but externally, we have all kinds of communications. And learning how to read that, to learn, like it gives hints, internally and externally guided. I mean, that's the path of the shaman too. So yeah, I'm not just nobody. I might not hold any degrees, and in fact that I'm almost have some pride in that, is what I've done on my own. And that's not to say I didn't learn from others. I've learned so much from others. But I have a unique perspective that I'm sharing, and I'm saying you need to get ready now. Prepare everything, your mind, your body, and get ready. Buy some seeds and sell your protection and get a sword. That means multiple things, but it very much means saying it's time. You got to learn to use your own voices and have the courage to do what I'm saying right now. I don't have fear of being wrong. I'm not wrong. I know what this means. I've seen all the pieces leading up to this. I know where we're at, and this is happening. So, make wise choices. If you have wealth saved in any of these forms that are going to become worthless, then use it properly to help the people around you. And help yourself, too. I mean, don't just, think about yourself first. And then realize that you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. So, learn, help people around you. and use your time and resources wisely. Like, if you're watching television, if you're doing, I mean, I can understand maybe going and seeing a really great movie, or going and seeing a really great concert, or, but like, I'm looking around and I realize this is like the last of the world that we've known. And it's never going to be the same. The crows' bellies are going to be swollen. Okay? And the dogs will be roaming the streets in packs. This is where all this leads to. You can think it's just a 20% oil disruption, but it's not. The system cannot take this type of stress. It was already failing. This is its critical blow. Thank you for watching. And, yeah, spread the word.